If you've ever thought about getting one of those high-end streaming amplifiers, say from Eversolo, say from NAD, say from Cambridge Audio, yeah, those brands. If you ever thought about buying one of those higher end streaming amplifier pieces, but you just can't afford it, and you still didn't want to get something like the Wim Amp Ultra either, right? But you'd like to have something that does a decent job of streaming. This that you're looking at, I'd like you to take a good look at it. This is the Arylic a50 Plus. And I'm going to tell you why this might be a great alternative to many of those brands that I mentioned earlier. Right? So I've had this little amplifier maybe for the last 5 years, somewhere from around COVID time, if I may use that name still, around 2020. I purchased it from someone in my community because I wanted something just small, small enough. I did not specifically purchase it for streaming. I wanted something to power my computer speakers. And also, I was thinking of something to power my TV speakers in my bedroom, just to get a better sound, something that is much better than a sound bar, if you know what I'm talking about, right? So I've had this thing from about 5 years now, long before all these streaming amplifiers that are on the market today became so popular. And lo and behold, never did I, in my wildest dream, imagine that this could be a great, this is a great alternative to many of those more popular and more expensive and more higher end streaming amplifiers that are on the market today. So this is the Arylic a50 Plus. All right. So, like I said in the past, I've never wanted to do reviews on this channel, and I'm not going to call this a review per se, but I just like to bring it to your attention. So what I like about this little amplifier, this little digital amplifier, is that it gives me a whole lot of ways to connect, not only physically but online. And before we get to the online aspect of stuff, if you look on the back here, what I do have, I have, let me hold it. Yeah, I have left and right RCA. I have a subwoofer out. I have an optical in, right? I have a USB in. I have, what's the cable called for the network cable in, right? And I also, over this end, I also have a USB input. All right? Apart from that, you'll notice that it has two antennas on it. This is for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. All right? So a lot of ways to connect. Now, so where should we start, apart from the connectors, where should I start talking about this little amplifier here? Like I said, I've used it to power my computer speakers using the Toslink or the optical input. I have used it to power my TV in my bedroom. There are times when I'm watching a little, it's a small TV, a 32-inch, but I'm watching a movie in my bedroom and I like to have better sound than what I'm getting from my TV speakers. So I combine this with two small Yamaha speakers, and it was night and day compared to what I was getting from my TV speakers. And the way I connected that, I used the optical out from the TV. Some people say Toslink, however whichever terminology you use, into the optical in on the back of this. All right. So that was how I use it for TV. But apart from that, I've also used it in my listening area to power much bigger bookshelf speakers, much bigger speakers that are much more demanding than those tiny little Yamaha speakers that I alluded to. And it does a very good job. It's 50 watts per channel. And of course, these are Class D amplifiers. They are, they're just basically integrated IC amplifiers, if I may use that word. This thing is barely, I don't think it's even weighing a pound. So this is how light it is. All right. So, yeah. So I've been using this for the last 5 years. I've used it in my listening space. I've used it to power, decent bookshelf speakers. And I've used it to stream. And I'm just going to go through some of the streaming apps that are available on this thing. And this is one of the main reasons why I am kind of recommending this to you as an alternative to some of the more higher end brands out there. If you would like to have, one of those higher end brands, but you just can't afford it, this will do a decent job, to bring a nice little sound into your home without breaking the bank, so to speak. So in terms of speakers, it can drive 4 to 8 ohm speakers. It does into audio format, MP4, AAC, wave, FLAC, audio decoding, up to 24-bit 192 kilohertz. In terms of the input and outputs, like I mentioned earlier, so you have Bluetooth, you have USB, you have coax, you have optical in, you have RCA in, you have what else do you have? You have network cable in, and for output you have a subwoofer output, and it goes on and on and on. So this little amplifier is well endowed, so to speak. In terms of what you can stream, in terms of the apps that are available on this little amplifier here, there is Spotify, there is Deezer, Tidal, Qbuzz, Amazon Music. It said Napster. Nobody's using Napster anymore. There's internet radio. There's iHeartRadio. Yeah, and of course, it talks about, if you have a network attached storage, this can access it. If you have music on a USB drive, you can plug it into the back of this. You can access your files there. Yeah, and it's really a nice little package, to get you started with streaming. If if streaming is something that you have been thinking about, it comes with a remote. What I like about this also, that every time you select an input, on the front of it here, there's a little light that changes color, and every color would indicate the input that you have selected. All right, so based on the input that you selected, you would get a different color LED on the front. All right, so what more can I say? I think it's great value for the money. You know, it can sound a little bit clinical here and there because, like I said, these little Class D amplifiers. They don't sound, I'm not saying Class D is bad, because Class D is kind of where it's at these days, right? But I mean, for these earlier, you know, modules, the earlier modules that are installed in these little amplifiers that you're finding all over Amazon these days, and many of them can, you know, there's the chance that you may get one that they sound a little bit harsh. You may get buzzing in some of them. So you just have to do your due diligence in terms of going for those that are highly recommended. I want to try the Fosi audio. Is that how you pronounce it? Fosi or Fosi? I'm not sure. Yes, I love to try that. I've never tried topping either, but I love to try amplifiers from, you know, these little mini amplifiers from those brands. In terms of this one, it's not too bad. It has a subwoofer out, so you know you can get good solid bass. It puts out good solid bass. Stereo separation is decent. You know, vocals. Of course, it's not going to sound like a 1000 or, you know, amp or up, you know, in terms of price. But for what you're getting in this, I think this is it's excellent value. So would I recommend this? Hell yes. The only thing I don't like about it, you know, because it's not all roses, it's the fact that it's the kind of speaker connectors that they use. I don't know what's the terminology for this kind of connection. Let me hold it up so you can have a good look at it. Yeah. So here, this is it, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So this is the connector. I need to hide my face so you can have a good look at it. Hide my face. Come on, focus on this. The camera won't focus on it. Focus on this. But in any case, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. And, you know, comparing it to something like this amplifier here. This is another mini amplifier that I have. This doesn't have any streaming, no streaming capabilities built in. In terms of network, in terms of wireless connection, only Bluetooth. But it does have decent binding posts on it, right? Yeah, so this has a nicer layout at the back. But this one, the Arylic a50 Plus, is a much more complete system, so to speak. But except for the speaker connectors, which I hate, I would wholly recommend this for your first streaming setup if you're thinking about streaming music. All right, so I just thought I'd share it with you today that this little amp, in my opinion, something that I took for granted over the last couple of years, has become an integral part of my listening experience, because not just the amount of inputs that it has on the back, but the amount of different streaming apps that are available. Something I forget to mention too is the fact that it also comes with an app. I think it's called a 4-stream app, and some people are saying it's a knockoff of the Blue Sound Node app. But it does a very good job. It does a very good job. There's so much that can be done with the app to control this, to access your music from anywhere. Yeah, so that's all I'd like to share with you today, guys. The Arylic A50 Plus. Don't sleep on it, okay? Don't sleep on this. If you're thinking about streaming, this is an excellent way to start. It's not the best in terms of sound quality, but good enough. It's good enough for a start. All right? Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this ramble. And if you like these little tips and little hacks and tricks and outside of the box kind of, audio stuff, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And until the next video, you take care of yourself. All right? All the best.